Good morning, boys and girls. On Thursday, Mrs. Robinson read you a story about air pollution. Today, we're going to talk about water pollution. Before we get started, we need to know some vocabulary words. The first word you need to know is the word evaporate. Evaporate is to turn from a liquid into a gas. Pollutants are harmful things that make the air, land, or water dirty. Reservoirs are places where water is collected and stored for use, and supply is the amount of something that is available for use. Okay, so let's take a look at this picture. There's three different types of water. Okay, fresh water is clean water that you can drink. Okay, so right here, this is the fresh water that they're washing their hands with, and you could drink from your faucet. Salt water is water that comes from the ocean or the sea. We cannot drink salt water, okay? And this over here, this is wastewater. Wastewater is water that is no longer clean because it has been used by people to wash or flush away materials such as dirt and chemicals. Drinking wastewater can cause animals and humans to become very sick. Water is Water is one of the most important natural resources on Earth. No matter who you are, what you do, or where you live, you'll always need plenty of water. Luckily, I have a lot of water on my surface. So you can see, look at all this water. Wherever you see that blue, that is water. The world is made up mostly of water. But I'm here to tell you that you need to help take care of the water if you want to help make sure that the Earth is always a happy, healthy place to live. Water is such an important natural resource that I decided to tell you a story about a special little drop of water that I named Willie. I found Willie a few weeks ago resting on this leaf with a bunch of other water drops. Yes, Willie is just one little drop of water, not much compared to all the water there is on Earth. But you should know that every single drop of water is important, especially fresh water like Willie. Fresh water is what you need when you're thirsty, or when you need to take a bath, or for any of the thousand other things you use water for. It's very precious, and less than 1% of the water on my surface is fresh. You might be surprised to learn that Willie the Water Drop is actually a very busy fellow. Like most water drops, he is always on the move. I decided to follow Willie to see what happened to him after he landed on this leaf. Willie wasn't on the leaf for long. A breeze came along and shook the leaf, sending Willie into this winding river. I wondered what would happen to Willie when he washed through all the litter in this river. Sure enough, he picked up a little dirt and grime along the way. Later, Willie the Water Drop passed a big factory. People produce many different things in factories. Unfortunately, almost all factories produce wastewater. Whatever they're making inside the factory, whether they're mixing paint or making ink or mopping the floors at the end of the day, people are using water. That dirty water needs to go somewhere when they're done with it. Wastewater is the dirty water that comes out of the factories like this one. But it doesn't go to the landfill like the trash from your kitchen. Instead, it goes down the drain and sometimes ends up back in the river or other body of water. Willie went past this wastewater pipe on the other side of the factory. Trust me, you don't even want to know what was coming out of this pipe. This pipe and many others like it can pollute the fresh water supply. What's the water supply? That's pretty much the whole point of this story. Willie the Water Drop is part of the fresh water supply, or at least he was when he first started out on the leaf. You and all the creatures and planets on Earth depend on the fresh water supply. There's plenty for everyone as long as everyone is careful not to use too much or pollute it. One morning in the river, Willie passed through a trout's gill. Remember how you learned that polluted air is bad for your lungs? Well, polluted water is bad for a fish's gills too. When this fish swam by, Willie the Water Drop passed right through its gills. Any pollutants or dirty, harmful things that Willie picked up when he passed the litter or wastewater pipe could have been left inside the fish. That's not good for the fish. Many cities get their water from reservoirs, and this is exactly where Willie the Water Drop ended up after a week or so in the river. A reservoir is a place made by people to collect and store water. Reservoirs are created by building a dam, like the one in this picture, across a river. By damming the river, people are able to make a big lake. After Willie the water drop floated around in the reservoir for a few days, he went down a pipe and into this water treatment plant. This is like a big bathtub, only they are actually cleaning water instead of using water to clean something else. After Willie sat in the treatment plant for a while, and the people were sure that he didn't have any more pollutants or other dirty stuff in him, he was ready to go through the pipes to someone's home. Once he left the water treatment plant, Willie went into another pipe, and then another, until finally he ended up flowing out of someone's bathroom faucet. A boy was washing his hands before dinner. That's a good thing, because there were all sorts of germs on that boy's hands. This is why Willie likes being a water drop. He knows he's helping boys and girls grow up to be healthy and clean. Willie the water drop was happy to have helped the boy get ready for dinner. But then it was straight down the drain for Willie. He went down the sink drain and into the drain pipe. Do you think that was the end of Willie the water drop? Is that the last we'll ever see of him? Actually, the answer is no. Willie will be back again. Right now, he could be in a wastewater pipe or floating around in a reservoir. However, there's really no telling exactly where he'll end up. Hopefully, Willie will go through another water treatment plant so they can clean off all the dirt and pollution before he is washed out of a big pipe like this and into another river. Once he's back in the river, Willie could flow to another reservoir. He could flow to the ocean. Maybe a bird will drink him, or maybe Willie will wind up in a sunny spot like this. The heat from the sun will make him evaporate, turning him into water vapor. Instead of being a water drop, he'll be a part of the air for a while. He'll float up into the sky, and there he could become part of a cloud. You heard it right. Clouds are actually fluffy bundles of tiny little water droplets up in the sky. The water in the clouds was once part of a river or lake or stream on the surface of the earth. Once he becomes part of the clouds again, Willie the water drop will float across the sky until one morning it will rain, and there you'll find Willie sitting on a leaf, waiting to start his journey all over again. Perhaps he'll end up in a bathtub or a swimming pool near you. Okay, the comprehension questions for today are: number 1, which important natural resource did Good Old Earth tell you about in this read aloud? Number 2, what is the difference between fresh water, salt water, and wastewater? Number 3, where does wastewater come from? Number 4, why are water treatment plants important? Number 5, why is it important to have clean water drops like Willie? And number 6, what are clouds made of? Okay, and our word work for today is, in the read aloud you heard, this pipe and many others like it can pollute the fresh water supply. Say the word supply. Supply means the amount of something that is available to use. For example, before the storm, we got a supply of food and water to keep at home. Okay, so I'm going to read a few sentences and you can tell me if that is a supply or if that is not a supply. Number 1, everyone brings a box of tissues at the beginning of the school year. Is that a supply? Number 2, my dad got me a big box of pencils to last me the whole school year. Number 3, we bring in our own snacks each day. Number 4, we had hamburgers for dinner last night. And number 5, the water in the reservoir is enough for the whole town. All right, I hope you enjoyed learning about Willie the water drop.